Hello, fellow foodies! Today we are in Everett, outside of the Irishmen. Shout out to Keenan Briscoe, my friend and coworker, for recommending this spot. Let's go check it out. The Irishman is a cozy pub located on Colby Avenue in Everett, Washington. The shop's owner, Barry Boyle, opened the Irish pub back in 2007, just 6 years after he moved to the States from Belfast, Ireland.
Back home, they're just pubs, they're not Irish pubs, because they're all Irish pubs in Ireland.
For Barry, a good Irish pub is less about traditional or authentic qualities and more about the general impression.
You can go into any sports bar and you can sit down, you can watch TV, you can watch whatever you want. When you come to an Irish pub, it's more about meeting people and getting to know the person sitting next to you. The staff play a huge part in it, and how they greet you and they talk to you and they get to know you, and then you become a regular, and they'll know the minute you walk in through the door if you're going to have a Guinness or if you're going to have a Smithwick's, because they get to build up these rapports, if you want to call it, with the customers. And that's basically what an Irish pub comes down to. It's a feel. It's a welcoming.
Of course, having delicious food doesn't hurt a pub's impression either. And thanks to some family recipes Barry borrowed from his mother, Anne Boyle, the Irishman has been serving stellar menu items for 15 years.
The majority of the main menu items on my menu are my mother's recipes. The shepherd's pie, the beef stew, even the beer batter for the fish and chips is all my mother's recipes. My mother showed me how to cook, and I brought the recipes with me after a few arguments of trying to get them out of her.
After chatting with Barry, I decided I'd try the Reuben sandwich, the fish and chips, and the shepherd's pie. Alrighty, first bite of the Reuben. The bread is like perfectly crisp. The corned beef with the Swiss is nice and salty. I love that. I don't think I've had a Reuben that just has so much flavor, both in the meat and the sauce, the sauerkraut, the cheese. This is working perfectly together. This is a very harmonious Reuben sandwich. This is fantastic. So now we're moving on to the fish and chips. Now when I came in here, one of the first patrons of the day actually ordered the fish and chips. He said it's his favorite menu item, that he's been eating it for years. So I'm really excited to try these out. Bro. I don't know how they got the fish and chips to be so juicy, yet so crispy at the same time. This is the perfect balance of like the nice crisp shell, like you can hear it when you take a bite, but the fish is just immediately tender and juicy. That is splendid. Now we're moving on to the shepherd's pie. Barry told me this is one of his favorites.
We make the majority of our food in-house. Like the shepherd's pie, everything's made from scratch. We don't buy in bulk stuff. We buy in the legs of lamb, we do the lamb ourselves. We peel our own potatoes, cut our own carrots, if you want to call it. We do everything we can. Makes it more the way my mother taught me how to cook, so that's what we do.
That's piping hot. Look at that. First of all, this is way cheesier than I had anticipated it would be, which is a good thing. That's very good. Look at that. The homemade soda bread is scrumptious, by the way. Whew, that's a little hot. Whew. 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 Definitely let the shepherd's pie cool down. This tastes like the most homemade. Like this really just makes me personally feel at home. The lamb in there is really good too. Like you can tell that this is a hearty dish, but the meat is actually one of the lighter parts. A lot of the heartiness comes from the potatoes and cheese more than anything. This is officially one of my new favorite spots. All right, last question for you. What are you guys doing for St. Patrick's Day?
I'm gonna be busy. We're in the business of making you happy. We're not in the business of making you healthy. When you come here, you'll be given the best service, you'll be given the best drink and the best food at a reasonable price, and we just hope you have a good time.
Well, that is a wrap at the Irishman. Everything I had was delicious. Shout out to Barry's mom for coming up with all those recipes. The fish and chips, the Reuben, the shepherd's pie, everything was delicious. If I had to give the Irishman a rating, I would give them Dublin double thumbs up. It was absolutely delicious. Special thanks to Barry for letting me interview him. You can follow the Irishman on Instagram at IrishmanPub. And of course, be sure to check out my full report on the Irishman at lynnwoodtimes.com.